looking very nice.
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explore right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul.
official season. But here we are. It's going to be 6 red lights for the start of our 3rd official preseason event, and they are away. Roger Robinson sitting on pole position in that yellow Chevy Cruze gets away nicely, leading them away. Kurt Moss is in second position. Raven Plummer on the inside in the red car right next to him. They're heading down into the braking zone. It's going to be easy for Roger Robinson here. It's him by himself heading into T1, but Kurt Moss fighting off Plummer to stay ahead, and he manages to do so. Jaden Harrison moves up 1 position, or rather keeps his position, P4. It's actually looking like the status quo has remained exactly how it was from the qualifying session. The driver is managing to get away cleanly, heading now down into turn 7, the hairpins. Heading now down into turn 7, the hairpin. We're seeing moves up and down the grid. It's Senna Somerville trying to make a move on Daniel Velez, but manages to do so. That's the first move so far for Somerville, but it looks as though Velez may be caught out on a back foot now. It's a little trio heading into Piratella. The fast left-hander, and there's contact there for Roger Keller. Unfortunate for him, but it's a dream for Somerville, who moves up now into 5th position, followed by Espinosa right on his tail, who has Mikhail Charles for company 7th now from 9th. Right side now, heading down the start-finish straight, but Plummer behind Robinson will have the slipstream, and 2 becomes 3 now as they head almost 4 wide down the start-finish straight here at Imola. It has been quite a clean first lap, but it's going to be 3 wide heading down into the first corner. Jaden Harrison there waiting for an opportunity to get back, and they managed to get cleanly through turn 1, but Kurt Moss snatches that position from Roger Robinson, and they all managed to keep it clean through the first couple of corner. Ladies and gentlemen, oh my goodness, it's anyone's race. Jaden Harrison in 4th position, watching it all unfold in front of him, waiting for an opportunity to get himself involved. And here's Plummer now trying to get by Robinson, but it's not sticking. Espinosa now looking in his rearview mirror as Mikhail Charles not leaving him alone. But speaking of leave alone, here's Jaden Harrison pushing Roger Robinson down the track. He is closer than he was before, and I think he's tired of waiting. It's only been 2 laps, but here he is, and Roger Robinson makes the same mistake as the first lap and gives that position away. Harrison moves up now into P2, and it's disaster for Robinson, starting on pole position, now down in 4th.
Because the 2 calibers of drivers, Mr. Massive as well as Mr. Harrison, will definitely put on a good show to cap off the first race of this evening. But yes, we will also be looking at the chase up race calendar, and I think we'll go into more detail. Wow, they're getting really touchy there, Mr. Rocco.
I wanted to ask you to pause, but I was just watching in awe as Jaden Harrison made an amazing move there, going down the inside of Kurt Moss. But he loses it on the exit of Ravazza, the final corner. Jaden there, using up the official preseason testing for all it's worth. I think he now knows that he's got to be a little bit more tentative on the corner exit there, especially when going side by side with other drivers. Unfortunate occurrence there for Jaden, losing it, especially in the
Daytona circuit as somewhat of a pre-race to our upcoming 12-hour of Daytona event on February 10th, that we will be entering a team into the GT3 class. So yeah, we will be having a stream tomorrow, just as a maybe a pre-race to that endurance event. As the race actually comes to an end, Mr. Roper, with
And
Miss Plomo at P1. Sorry, go on.
yeah, the race comes to an end, but we have more racing action coming up in a few short moments. For the first race, it's Raven Plummer taking the checkered flag, finishing this race in first position. Roger Robinson, who started on pole position, finishes in second, and Senna Somerville, it may be the preseason, but this is his debut in the CTCC cars, and he has finished on the podium. Daniel Velez, an excellent showing from him, finishing in fourth position. Kurt Musk managing to scrape back to fifth position after that incident with Jaden Harrison. Mikhail's Charles fought off Ruben Espinosa and finishes in sixth position. Kimani Eastman finishes in seventh, followed by Ruben Espinosa in eighth, Roger Keller in ninth, and Eric
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here during our pre-season events for the JSRA. We are gearing up for season 2, the 2024 season. We hope to be one of much promise. My name is Chad Dillon, and we are live virtually from the Daytona Raceway, the road course. And in a strange turn of events, your commentator, might also be racing whilst commentating. We'll see how that turns out. Um, we're doing some testing, and as the numbers are low, I am going in for a participation award. Dare I say? This is a track that we are also currently preparing for a 12-hour endurance race with the World Sim Series to participate in on February 10th. 10th. And so certainly this will be telling for a few of the drivers out there. Jaden Harrison and Roger Robinson, two members of the team, myself as well. So yeah, this would be a good precursor to give you an idea of what the drivers are capable of going into that endurance, but also just to see what drivers we have in store for the 2024 season. Again, the turnout is a little low in terms of numbers today, but that is not to say that we do not have the drivers. It is just unforeseen circumstances for some of the participants. Stay tuned for greater numbers as we continue through the preseason, going into the start of the season in March. And yeah, these are some GT3 cars from a RSS mod. Uh, yeah, and alongside me is El Presidente, who can assist us in some of the details as it relates to what we have planned for 2024.
Good evening. I'm so happy to hear your voice again, bro. We have missed you here at the JSRA. Kale has been holding down the fort, but the man, the myth, and the legend, Mr. Chad Dillon, back in the house. Excited to have him and on track. Oh my word! As the excitement does cause my phone to drop off of my lap. With that being said, the turnout is a little bit low. A lot of one of our drivers is actually at the actual Daytona 24. And I will give him a quick shout out, Mr. Joshua Brady, on his birthday, celebrating it in fine style at the 24 Hours of Daytona, as we take a quick glimpse at the upcoming driver, Mr. Chad Dillon. Who will be taking place in the 12 hours of Daytona that we will be participating in. I did make mention of that last night during the Caribbean Touring Car Championship practice, which, Chad, again, I am so sorry I missed it. It was an absolute blast. We had a Senna Somerville, a wild Senna Somerville, making his debut in the yesterday and placing on the podium, so that was an awesome sight to see.
Let's hope we get a lot more consistent Senna Somerville this year. He did participate in a few of our events in the previous year, but due to other engagements was not able to be ever present, so we hope to see a lot more of him, as well as a lot of our other talented,
of course,
drivers.
Guess who came back yesterday? Miss Raven Plummer.
Oh yes, I did see some highlights with her on track actually. It looks like she placed fairly well in that first race, given the incident with Jaden and Kurt at the end there. I don't know if I trodden on any nerves mentioning that incident.
Well, thank God it's a preseason. We made the mistakes here.
Go ahead.
But no, man, the moment in particular that I remember is that 4 wide going into turn 1 at Imola. That was absolutely ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen that move.
That is very brave.
And the person to lead that pack coming out of that 4 wide was Mr. Kurt Massive, who I personally believe he's a little bit more careful because he doesn't want his race to be ruined. So it was very exciting to see everybody kind of sticking their neck and just pushing that extra effort, even though it's only preseason. They came out very clean out of that, and if that's just an indication of what's to come, I can't wait for the beginning of the season. But that being said, we are rejoining the server, Mr. Dillon. I'm assuming you should be on track by now.
I just rejoined myself.
Okay, so I do see Daniel, Mr. Velez, Roger Robinson, and Jaden Harrison already on track. So I guess we'll just follow you once you jump on, because you haven't gotten any practice on this with this car on this track, have you?
I have not.
So this should be a spectacle. I should join you.
Techno Poppy showing on the new year, but that's okay. Sometimes it's fun with the Poppy show, you know?
Listen, that would be my one moment to shine. So let me take it while I can get it. Well, I'm guessing we don't really want to leave me on the commentary booth alone today. I don't think I want to pressure you to be on commentary duty while driving. So today we might try a new style where we may just join a few new a few of the drivers while they race. Not put all the pressure on you, Mr. Dillon, but try and try a new style. It's the preseason. Let's have some fun with it.
Quite so. Quite so. And I am okay with still being present whilst making an attempt here, so, you know.
Listen, just watch the mouth while if there's any major incident, alright?
Noted.
Have you been watching the Daytona 24?
I have not.
It's been full of surprises. Very fun, so I won't say anything else to ruin that for you, but it has been fun while we have been taking we have been watching. So if it's any indication of how our 12 hour is going to go, especially with the pace that some of you guys that the team has, obviously, I feel like we have a very strong chance of competing. Let me stop real quick.
But certainly there seems to be some promise within the team, and so we look to see what they're able to do here in this practice event, as I am on my outlap at the moment whilst doing this. This is a fun new experiment here at the JSRA, ladies and gentlemen. Always pushing the boundaries of what is possible.
So at this point, let's just ride along. Let's go. Let's get it.
Well, you know what? Why not do a track walk whilst we're
There we go.
in the qualifying session? And as I approach the start-finish line here, a very complex series of corners going into turn one as we hit the braking zone. Let's see if we did that right. Well enough. And then this is not really a corner. It's marked as a chicane turn two, but not so much a corner as it is going into the hairpin for turn three. Heading on the run now, flat out down to the fast left-hander at turn four, and then into another hairpin at turn five. A little bit late on the brakes there, and I am 6/10 down in sector one. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time I'm driving this car around this track, so you have to stay with me. And we're just seeing what we can do here. And I'm driving this car without a tune as well, so this is the stock bone setup, as somebody has gone even quicker. And it is Roger Robinson at the top of the timing sheets who has gone faster than his previous best. So Roger clearly has the measure of his car at the moment, whilst I am trying to get up to speed. And bus stop chicane is a very tricky corner if you don't know what you're doing. A little slow through there. I had to take it very cautiously as I do not yet know the stopping power of this car, and this is looking like a rather slow lap, 148. My goodness, have some work to do. And as we approach the start finish once more, yeah, rather slow lap there, but we get the gist of the track.
And Chad, you well, as you know, this is preseason, so we will be doing a quick test. So we will have our rolling start for the Daytona 45 or 40-minute race, so it should be fun. So yeah, that is my warning to you as well. It is a rolling start.
Absolutely.
Well, let's see what Mr. Dillon has in store for us today, folks, as he takes his car, his very colorful Mercedes-Benz, around the wonderful, one of my favorite endurance tracks on the, well, endurance races, the Daytona road course, road circuit.
Absolutely. And I'm waiting to see what Jaden Harrison has in store, another member of the team, not yet having completed a flyout. I'm sure he has similar pace to Mr. Roger Robinson. These cars are a little bit slower, it seems, than what we will be running in the race. Not by much, but there is a small power difference I have noticed in terms of maxing out the car going through some of these sections.
What
And
you're
so,
going to love. Oh, sorry.
no, that's fine.
Well, yeah, what you're
What
going to love is the tire model. Just sorry to cut you, but yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I seem to be braking quite early for that chicane because I expect a longer stopping time. However, it seems as though I am overestimating the power of these cars. So maybe there is a little bit more time to be found out here. We shall see.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as Mr. Dillon will be taking his qualifying to learn the car, I will just give you the opportunity to hear this beautiful Mercedes GT3 around one of our favorite tracks. Even something, a very interesting note that we made earlier. The sky, the scattered clouds in the game itself was almost identical to the real life one. I mean, I was on a conversation or having a conversation with Mr. Harrison, and our conclusion was that they need to upgrade their graphics. But yes, no, it was just so amazing to see the comparison between the two. The sky colors, the beauty of it, and everything. If you haven't noticed, Mr. Dillon, I am very much a fan of our graphics. I love to see
Oh
it.
no, certainly they're magnificent to witness.
Definitely. And then to see the comparison between it and real life, that was a showstopper. If I do say so myself. So I'm very happy, very excited for it, especially for this season. As we say, Mr. Eastman trying to get his lap down as well, because I believe he came in late for training a little bit before. I would love to join you guys, Chad.
I mean, at this point, we can throw commentary out to the team at large and get everybody on track, because it is the preseason and you want to see the numbers on track to test different features of the stream going into the season. And so the more cars, the merrier. But again, as it is the preseason, not much is at stake. So the drivers who might have other engagements would prioritize those.
Well, yeah. Unfortunate, but as you said, it is the preseason. But no, I just saw the times and I was like, yo, I could be competitive. That was my moment to shine, Chad.
Hey, take it while you can get it.
Yeah, right.
While the sun shines.
Yes, no, I would love to, and trust me, it will come sooner than later. We are putting all of the arrangements in place so I can get back on track as soon as possible. I miss it. I miss it. I
I
miss it. I miss
definitely
it.
want to stay El Presidente back out there so that we have a beaten
Beaten
stick.
stick, right? I knew. I mean, be a little original, brethren. But yes, that being said, we do have Roger Robinson with the fastest time with a 144.142. This car is the one that they use in the LFM Assetto Corso races. I believe their times, or the alien times, are about 142, high 143. So obviously our times aren't looking too bad. I do believe Jaden and Roger were on until late last night, doing close to the 143 if they haven't. But we all know that two of them were best known for their sandbagging qualities. So I'm sure.
Especially the one Roger.
Oh my word, man! I mean, we have. Anyways, let's go on. Yes, Mr. Robinson is quite known for his sandbagging techniques, which may be coming very useful in our 12-hour coming up, because I believe at current we are top 15. So if he does have an extra second or two to pull out, then that means we can easily be top 10, which is a huge sign for us in the upcoming 12-hour race. I don't know if you can tell, Tran. I am
Excitement.
extremely excited for it, man. I don't know if it's a combination of watching you guys and seeing that I actually could, maybe to the back of Mr. Eastman's car, but at the same time, watching the race itself today, I mean, it's a dream of not just mine, but I'm sure a lot of you guys. So,
Absolutely.
and especially any team event, always gives us the most fun. I mean, up to a very good friend of mine, I think he fell asleep in the latter stages of our first 24-hour Nordschleife endurance, and there's a momentary breathing exercise was very prevalent on the stream. That boy, we were dying of laughter with. He who shall not be named, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, man. I had a full day that day. I was up from the crack of dawn for driver briefing, and I had to monitor the team's opening stint. I drove 2 stints myself. I was entitled to that sleep.
Can't fight you, bro. Cannot fight in any way, shape, or form.
What you guys heard was the culmination of a hard day's work.
It's a part of it. But no. And again, I can't fight you. Which reminds me, I do believe will you be racing at headquarters for this upcoming 12 hours?
Yet to be decided, but it is a real possibility that I could do so.
We will definitely have that stream. It will be fun to see. But that being said, qualifying is coming to a close as Jaden Harrison brings it around by the bus stop for the final sector. Currently 2/10 up on his personal best, 6,600th up down on his personal, and then let's see what can be done for the final sector. But again, 5 drivers. I can imagine most persons aren't taking this as seriously as they would like. However, he does improve and does put it to a 144.7. With Roger coming out of the bus stop. Who is that in the NSX? Is that Mr. Eastman? Definitely putting it into the wall. Very comedically. Chad Dillon putting it in P4 with a 1 minute 46.085. Kimani Eastman with a 149.077. Very excited to see what can happen. So 40 minutes, 1 mandatory pit stop. This is preseason.
Yeah, certainly there is excitement to come, and boy, Roger's pace out front looks damning, as well as Jaden Harrison not too far behind. But as I have just started learning the car, maybe I might find some pace mid-race. Who's to say? Let's see
So,
what's possible, ladies and gentlemen.
are we really leaving you in the commentary booth for the race, Mr. Dillon? Is what we need to ask.
Hey, I have no problem seeing how multi-talented I am whilst out there on track. Um, all that going to happen is you going to have to commentate on what is going on up front. I can only commentate on the battles further down the order.
Noted. I'll try my best to keep my camera off of it because I don't know if you saw that highlight with me following Mr. Massive and Mr. Harrison yesterday. Again, I cannot apologize enough, but as soon as I started to talk on them, brethren, and telling the audience how they were going to put on the fight of the century,
Yeah, man. There went Jaden Harrison.
final corner, one touch too many. So yes, I will definitely be trying my best not to commentate too heavily on the racers themselves, but I will try my best to keep you guys entertained at the same time without causing any unforeseen incidents. That being said,
Yeah,
that being
we
said,
look forward
let's...
to the start of the race where we can get some excitement going out here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And a new one coming to you from the JSRA. The commentator is on track, and we will see if he can keep his mind on both tasks. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I do my strategy plannings, waiting for the race to start, clearly the man to watch is my teammate, Mr. Roger Harrison. Wow, my combine them name. Mr. Roger Robinson, my apologies, alongside his other teammate, Mr. Jaden Harrison, on the front row. I will be starting from fourth place. Well, it looks a nice one as this close to them, but it won't last for very long. So no, they need the practice. We need to get them as ready as they can be for the 24 hours. So we, as incident free as we can keep it, let's try and keep it incident free for these drivers. But let's not count out the rest of the grid. We do have some experience on this grid. Mr. Luis Daniel Velez has been a part of many of our events and has proven to have quite some pace. He is not quite on the level of Roger and Jaden at the moment, but they certainly are at an advantage that we have been doing prep for this race for the last 2 weeks. So they've had 14 days of experience around this track in similar cars. Having driven this car myself, it is not too far off what we have on the WSS servos. Maybe just slightly down on power, but the handling is pretty similar, as is the driving style for these cars. So they are at a slight advantage to the rest of the field. I say we should be, but here I am a little bit further back, having just tried this car out for the first time, 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago?
If it was so much.
Hey, we will see what comes of this event, but certainly here we are in preseason. We are looking for great things to come from the JSRA in 2024. Definitely check out our social medias to see what we have planned for the year. I'm sure there will be some exciting announcements to come. Can't spoil the fun just yet, but
Yes.
big things are planned.
Yes.
That is for sure.
Yes. A lot to be posted. We are leaving everything for the first week of February, so we can start looking out for things to be posted by as soon as Wednesday of next week. But that being said, sorry, Mr. Dillon, let me just finish.
I'm just. Go ahead.
Oh no, well, I was just letting the audience know that this will be a rolling start, so please don't be alarmed at the slow pace to get this race underway. But that being said, well, let me just confirm quickly. They will do a full formation lap in which they will warm their tires until the final bus stop, or I guess, well, the bus stop or final chicane, in which the lead driver will be controlling the pace up until the starting line. So, Roger Robinson leads Mr. Jaden Harrison, followed by Daniel Velez from Nova Racing Store in Colombia, our very good friends and partners, as well as Moza dealers over on that side, as well, followed by Mr. Host with the most, Mr. Chad Dillon, who is driving and commentating at the same time, multi-talented, followed by our other JSRA member, one of my favorite drivers, Mr. Kimani Eastman, Candy_Gatari. Let's see if he can put on some fights and get some excitement. Sadly, he will not be participating in this endurance event as a driver. However, he will be sitting right next door to me, even if it is just virtually, as a race engineer. But yes, that being said, Chad, you did have a final point. So before the race undergoes, please feel free.
Oh, I lost it, but I think it was along the lines of waiting until Formula One launch season to make your announcements to get in on the excitement.
There you go, man. I wanted this mix in the you know.
Quite so. So yes, Kimani Eastman ever present in our race events, and him would have vexed to hear me talk about him, even though I'm on track.
Just at this point, they don't want to hear my voice.
But Kimani Eastman ever present and is one of those drivers that you can never count out. May not be on pace, but certainly has the consistency to get into the mix. So we will watch for what happens. And right now, I'm his main competition. So maybe I should talk about him and call out some commentators first.
That being said, we have now entered the bus stop. Roger Robinson will be controlling the pace as he is the lead car. Mr. Harrison there putting his car right alongside. So when will we get lights out?
Pulling a Max Verstappen there is Mr. Jaden Harrison, looking ready to go racing already. Just making Roger know that I am here and ready for it. And I think I get a little too racy with Mr. Velez here, so let me
back off. What happened?
I see a disqualification for not doing a mandatory pit.
Looks like we may have had an issue with the servo. Real quick, let's just take a quick look and try and figure out what happened there.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the preseason. If ever there is a time for things like this to take place, it is now. Get all of the testing out of the way so that we don't have these hitches come start of the season. Certainly there was some mishap there with the servo rules, so we will get those adjusted and we will get going again in a few moments' time, as it looks like all the drivers have been DQ'd for the incident that did not take place, i.e. the pit stop that would have been required, but it should have been set for the duration of the race. However, it seemed to have been on the opening lap that we were required to make that pit stop. As my suspicion is that there was the time allotted for the pit window was not adjusted correctly, but we will do some checks and be back with you in a moment's time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I must apologize. We've been having a little bit of technical issues with our server on our main side. But we are about to get started with our, well, we have reduced the race to a 30-minute race with no mandatory pit stop. Just so we can get, well, a few of the drivers have other races to take part in. Unfortunately, we can't get the full test and excitement that we were looking forward to for this week. But that being said, I'm sure 30 minutes of action between these 6 drivers or 5 drivers will be more than enough to keep us very interested and intrigued. So drivers are entering now as we speak, and we will just skip to the race as soon as everybody has joined. So with that being said, please just be a little bit patient with us. We are on the verge of going. We will not be doing the rolling start again. We will be doing a standing start. So yes, please sit back and enjoy for whatever is left of this 30-minute debacle. Is that the best word to use, Mr. Dillon?
Well, it's not a bad word choice. Excitement and I was going to say chaos, but I certainly hope not.
I think at this point there will not be that much chaos if there is any. But that being said, Virgin, I'm in love with these cars with Kimani Eastman in P1 or P2, P1, followed by Mr. Roger Robinson with Daniel Velez, Chad Dillon, and Jaden Harrison in the Rainbow Mercedes-Benz. Teammates side by side. It is 6 lights, and the drivers are now on the way, and we have liftoff as Mr. Eastman does take his advantage as quickly as possible to get away from the pack as they go into turn 1. One of my favorite corners at this track, or one of the most hated actually, if I am being honest. But that being said, let's take a look at what's happening. Where's Mr. Dillon?
Chilling right behind Mr. Robinson because Jaden Harrison, they're very aggressive at the start, has found himself in P2 already.
P2?
And is taking the fight to Kimani Eastman out in front. And boy, Jaden got the hammer down right out the gates and just took it to everybody. But that is Jaden Harrison at his finest, ladies and gentlemen.
30
Always
minutes left to
on
go.
the attack.
I mean, he did have a race this evening with the Caribbean Motor Racing Sim Club, and boy, he had his trials and troubles, but he did his best. And although we definitely did have pace, especially for P2, we ended up on the podium with P3, with all things being. But that being said, we are in the middle of the week 2 Chase or Pace preseason event.
Absolutely, and Roger Robinson side by side with Kimani Eastman up ahead of me, and he looks to have that move done as we are heading into bus stop chicane. Kimani may have thought better of that, knowing full well where we are, and it looked like I might have a run at him now too. Oh no, he lost it, and is that one of those moments
my word.
was cursed.
And ladies and gentlemen, yes, that is a competitor commentating and calling down the commentator's curse on his rival, Mr. Kimani Eastman. But that being said, Mr. Dillon is 9/10 down on Mr. Roger Robinson as Daniel Velez does take the fight to Mr. Harrison as they go into the turn 1. And Jane Harrison, whoa! Going in really hot there.
I'm not sure if there was some contact there with Velez because the two were neck and neck going into that corner, but Jaden Harrison coming out worse for wear there as I now run in P3, but Daniel Velez taking the lead of the race and Roger Robinson on the hunt, and here comes Jaden Harrison behind me. I will not be entering into that fight, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr.
When
Dillon,
he catches me, I will let him go.
I think you need to stop talking about your fellow competitors at this point, sir, because you're the reason I went onto that view. That being said, Mr. Harrison is looking for. I mean, he does enjoy the chase, so I guess that does add a little excitement. Chad, be as difficult as you can possibly be, following the rules and regulations. This will be practice for Mr. Harrison as well as you, and Mr.
So
Robinson
block
as well.
him. All right, cool. We'll
Block
do.
him. But that being said, we will take another look back at Mr. Robinson on the tail of Daniel Velez, currently 7/10 down. Daniel did start practicing a few hours ago, so showcasing his skill and his talent. Always a fast driver. Him and his team that he will be carrying into the JSRA this season for our invitationals for the Chase for Pace as well as the Caribbean Touring Cars. He definitely enjoyed himself last night. Well, as did most of the drivers. Most came back to me saying how amazing the cars were. And I had to predicate all of it to Mr. Robinson, as Mr. Robinson does, or let me say Mr. Velez, does go a little bit too deep, allowing Mr. Robinson to kind of draw a little bit closer. On the exit of turn 1, now going into, what's that, turn 4? Or 5. I've never been good at that. You are the technical commentator. Please leave me be. As Mr. Harrison, oddly enough, not really making much inroads into Mr. Dillon. So clearly, Chad's pace has been exuberant.
I don't know about all that, but
yes.
no, I think Jaden Harrison kind of getting back up the grips. Or I don't know if he took some damage in that contact actually, which may have caused him a little bit of strife, as this is a very high-speed track and you need your aero to be working at peak performance. Any kind of drag will certainly hinder you in this process.
So here's what happened though. He didn't have any structural damage, but guess where he got damaged too? This might be a good moment to let you know as well. The tire wear is set to 220%. So maybe he is just feeling. Yes, maybe he is just feeling the effects of that 220%, because with that incident he was sliding for quite some time. So the tires may very well be damaged, as we see Roger Robinson has the run leading up on Daniel Velez, gets the slipstream, takes it going around, passing the start finish line, and gets the run going into turn 1 to take P1 5/10 faster than Mr. Velez on that last lap.
No, I could see that battle taking place from my position further back, and Roger Robinson there getting very aggressive through that section.
I don't know what kind of rear wing Mr. Robinson over there running on the team car, but clearly we need it for the endurance event that we're going to enter, because the way how the man just pulled for Mr. Velez. We may need to bring that car in for scrutiny, so we may need to call Mr. Donald, Nicholas Donald, our chief steward, to come check out this car. With that being said,
yes.
we did notice though that the slipstream in this car is impeccable, as we do see Daniel Velez taking it inside, going on to pass Mr. Roger Robinson, although let it be known they are still side by side.
Indeed, and I can see them up ahead having the battle of their lives, and if they keep that up, hopefully I can get into the mix a little bit later on, but I'm certainly not on their pace at the moment.
And let me at least warn you as well, though, Chad, that there will be no mandatory pit. Again, with how the stream started, or the delayed start.
Well, it may not be mandatory, but at 220%, I don't know if these guys will last.
Strategy. Let's see what will be happening. As even Mr. Eastman has cut down that gap to Jaden Harrison.
Well, Jaden is actually catching me at the moment because I can see him in my rear view.
Yes, he's currently 2 seconds behind you, but at the same time...
And
wait.
like Roger Robinson had an incident there as I just went by him going through the pit lane, maybe some contact there made with the barrier on the entry to turn 1. And we will see if that has affected his pace, but Yeah, there he is right in front of me with Daniel Velez clearing off into the distance.
I'm so confused. What did I miss?
Well, when I pulled up on him, he was in a wall, so.
Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, anybody who has come in a little bit later, please let it be known that Mr. Chad Dillon is, yes, driving and commentating. This will be the highlight of the week and will most likely be recorded for your viewership on our YouTube channels that you will see pop up on your screen momentarily. But yes, that is your host with the most. Enjoying himself this evening as our numbers were a little bit low with the turnout for this week, which not disappointed. It slightly expected, especially with the spectacle that was put on yesterday, because the energy was honestly one of the greatest races. That clearly I'm distracting Mr. Dillon, as well as Mr. Roger Robinson and Jaden Harrison taking P2. Where did Jaden come from? I am so confused.
Jane been on my tail that whole time, but I did not know where to go.
Where to go?
A while ago. So I went left, he went left, I went right, and then boy, Jaden Harrison, ever the capitalist, just taking advantage there. Is he waiting? Jaden is bored.
Jaden is bored. Jaden is definitely bored. But at the same time, make it hard for him.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, this tire wear is going to become a factor because I am feeling the effects already going into that turn one. There's a little bit of slip there. So
and it's only been 10 minutes, Chad.
Yeah. We will see how this progresses, but as we get deeper into this race, Roger Robinson finding himself back in the mix now there further back, Jaden Harrison having waited. I don't know. I'm not going to run down Mr. Velez, who is currently scampering off into the distance by himself. And no, that is not me trying to call down commentators' curse on him.
Lion. Well, yes, no, I understand completely.
Jaden Harrison looking to get very racy here, and this is where this track becomes a little bit difficult to defend, because when you are on the NASCAR sections, certainly you cannot do much to defend outside of positioning your car on the inside line.
Go faster, Chad, go faster. And yes, most definitely, as you should have noticed by now, the slipstream is extremely powerful on these cars, so I am excited to use them for the upcoming season. This will be a part of our WEC, our World Endurance Championship Sprint Series. So this will be our quote-unquote GTD, and we will be running the LMP2 or LMDH class as well. So very excited for that.
Boys the idle.
Bump draft, bro. But yes, again, this may be good practice for you guys, as this is you will be going too wide into turn one on many occasions, I'm assuming, especially in the start of that race, which I again will use the time and talk as much as possible. We had two of our teammates, Mr. Harrison as well as Mr. Wallace, who is sadly missing in action for tonight. But again, it is a preseason. But that being said, practicing for about 25 minutes straight, getting the too wide into turn one and certain sections, that practice from early, which is going to be extremely beneficial for us in the coming endurance race. We've been managing pace. We've decided
he likes it.
As Mr. Dillon does go to give a little love tap to his teammate and brethren, a fellow countryman, in the two rainbow Mercedes Benzes, with a very interesting brake check there by Mr. Harrison. Clearly these two are enjoying themselves a little bit too much, but giving the audience a little thing to watch and enjoy at this time in the stream.
Absolutely. Jaden Harrison clearly just out here trying to figure out lines and drafts and just using this more as a dare I say, a practice session than an actual race at this point. All the while, Daniel Velez is just scampering off into the distance. I don't know when we dropped Roger, though. I thought he was right there in the mix. But
Yeah,
Roger,
no. He did take a few to get back on track. And back in the action. But not sure. Let's see what's happening down there. He does seem like he's having some issues. I'm going to assume at this point, Chad, tire wear is playing a huge factor. Especially when you're going off with, yeah, you would know. Especially when you're scrubbing the tires and running off, as we saw Mr. Harrison and Mr. Robinson doing earlier. At this point, let's maybe carry in one of the other drivers. Why not? And let's have some fun in the commentary booth this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see who we could carry on. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be continuing. They seem a little, actually very, very, very much so focused on what is happening in front of them. Mr. Harrison definitely hunting down Mr. Chad Dillon now, with aims to take back that position from him. So let's see if the heat will be, or the water will be boiled and the pot will be stirred, as Mr. Harrison, and as you may notice, the time will go into a nighttime cycle. We are testing a full 24-hour cycle, starting in the afternoon and should be ending at night. So let's not say 24 hours. In 30 minutes, let's say we'll get to maybe 12 to 16, not sure. But you will notice it getting very dark, and it will get dark very sudden, as we will be having... You were wondering what's happening, right?
It very quickly went from evening to dusk. So
yes, we will be having dynamic conditions and weather this season in both the Caribbean Touring Car, the Assetto Corsa Competizione, as well as the Chase for Pace series. And if you do notice as well, Mr. Dillon's car is glowing, which will be, as well as Mr. Harrison, which will be a sneak peek to our 2024 first livery that we will be using in the 12 hours of Daytona on February 10th. So very excited to showcase the brilliant talents of Mr. Eastman, currently in P4, who is our in-house livery designer. He manages most, if not all, of our liveries. So if there's anybody to thank for that, it is definitely Mr. Eastman, as Mr. Jaden Harrison is going for the the bump draft again. This is something that we did make notes with in the 24 hour of Daytona on iRacing, which was last weekend, I believe. Ooh, and the glowing Mr. Dillon, commentator, man, myth, legend, does find himself into the wall. I guess the bump draft did give him a little bit too much speed, which definitely did not remind him that he does need to slow down. But that being said, I think I'm enjoying commentary too much tonight. I don't know what's going on, man. Maybe the low numbers, maybe, I don't know. But
And I can feel the tires now, ladies and gentlemen. So I have to stick it out because with only 11 minutes to go, I don't think a pit stop is wise at this point in time. However,
as I did play race engineer to Mr. Harrison earlier, I do believe if you do take a pit, you will definitely come out at about P4, if P5, let me say, if that is enticing to you in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, I have 20-something seconds in hand. I don't think I'll lose that much time if I endure for the next 10 minutes.
No, I don't think you got the joke I was trying to make, but I digress. Well, yes, I do agree. It would be the smarter strategy to... Well, why am I helping you? Pit, make it fun, make it exciting. Fresh tires, chase them. Which reminds me, what times are you doing now, Mr. Dillon? Or what is the average pace that we're noticing?
Well, I see Velez and Harrison, although Harrison has caught Velez very quickly there. Only 4 seconds adrift at the moment. Maybe the Velez has an incident. But my consistent pace is mid to low 146s, not on this current lap as I had to work the tires back in. But Jaden Harrison, I believe I saw doing mid 145s. However, yeah, I think a good pace to be carrying is the 146, 145 over the course of the race.
Definitely, as Mr. Eastman has a slight offing right there coming out of the, well, that looks like the end of sector 2, or the start of sector 2, let me say. As Mr. Robinson does take the position back. Jaden Harrison, 3.7 seconds off of Daniel Velez, with Mr. Chad Dillon followed in P3, with Mr. Robinson P4 and Mr. Eastman P5. I'm excited to hear the feedback of these cars. At the end of the race, I wish we had a few more persons. But that being said, Mr. Harrison does close the gap.
And very rapidly, because I looked a while ago and it was 3 seconds. Now it's half a second.
Right.
My God.
So, yep, very interesting. It's like he's just appeared. So it's looking maybe like the drivers are calling for... No, they're going at it. Very much so going at it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us watch and ride along Mr. Harrison as he goes for the run on Daniel Velez.
And those two look neck and neck based on the timing.
And Daniel does go off the yellow flag, Mr. Dillon, by the chicane. Please be wary. Both of them are right on the exit off, or just getting out of. So you should be able to catch up now and let the last 8 minutes be a little bit exciting. Wait, Mr. Dillon, what about?
You called out crosses.
All right, I swear to you, ladies and gentlemen, I will never commentate again after today because clearly I have the goat out. I'm telling you.
Yellow flag and I hit the brakes and I was like, wait, why is the car going sideways?
Yeah, that is unfortunate. I was looking forward to that fight, but clearly I have the power in the tongue. So whoa.
Ooh.
Pause. Anyways, clearly I have the goat mouth and have been causing a lot of I guess I don't know what you'd call it at this point, because I was hoping it would crosses. At that point, that's the best word for it.
I am also looking at my tire life and these tires are suffering, ladies and gentlemen. So clearly and it's 220% deg, will provide some added action if we do continue with this function going forward, because my tires right now are on the brink of extinction. But we're just gonna have to endure for 7 minutes. I can see the other two up ahead. I don't know if they're having the same sufferations as I am. However, it looking rough in the streets.
As you may hear in the background, Mr. Jaden Harrison exclaiming to Mr. Velez, "I almost died," and as he certainly almost did, coming out of, well, not by the, well, by the bus stop, right? So still following closely behind Mr. Velez, with Chad Dillon following with Roger Robinson and Mr. Eastman. I think, Chad, the drivers, as you said, are definitely, well, including you, are definitely feeling those effects of the worn tires.
No man, certainly if this is a function that we will be using, drivers will have to be planning strategies left, right, and center, because had I realized that this is where the tire wear was going, I'd have probably taken a midway pit stop.
I never know. Maybe you'd have caught up.
To take my chances, but I am currently sitting at 60% of my tires left. So,
You're good, man.
ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if El Presidente just been out of a car not long, but
60% is disgusting.
60% feel like a skating.
That being said, should we just take a look? As I do notice Mr. Robinson as well as Mr. Eastman in the pits. Does that mean the trigger has been taken? Shot? Trigger has been squeezed? With Mr. Eastman undercutting. Well, no, definitely not undercutting. Just has a pit box ahead of Mr. Robinson, I'm going to assume. But Mr. Harrison and Mr. Velez getting very squarely out of the bus stop or final chicane. Jaden Harrison testing the bump drafting again. We did notice a lot of this with Team Redline Racing in the 24 hours of iRacing, and trust me, it gave us some ideas that we thought of on many occasions. As Mr. Harrison dives into the pits right in front of Mr. Velez to undercut, using the bump draft actually to utilize or benefit the entry of the pit speed, pit entry, leaving Mr. Dillon out on track with less than 60% of his tires left. So,
Quite so.
definitely enjoying the break.
Well, this is now a game of, well, although I think it's too late to play this game, I was gonna say it's a game of cat and mouse, because should they come back out with significantly more pace than myself, then it's a chase.
Just don't crash. You have 4 minutes to stay alive, sir. Unless you
Why
undercut
would you
or
say
overcut,
this?
sorry. Huh?
Why would you say this?
You crash? I took the camera off for you, my guy. Come on, man.
I'm
I
still going the
apologize.
right way, but my God.
For now. For now. But yes, as you did say, we are looking for these challenging races, which is again why we do implore the drivers to test as much, because these are the cars that we will be using for the 2024 season. We should see old faces popping back up, as well as new faces, as we do have quite a roster. As we stated earlier, we will be doing invitationals this year. We're looking at a team championship, a driver championship, excitement all around. So we are looking forward to the drivers utilizing the preseason as much as possible when they can. Even if you don't see them in the races, don't worry, they are still practicing. So it's
Absolutely, and you certainly want to stay tuned to our social media to get an idea of when these championships are coming and what they entail. Ladies and gentlemen, if I sound a little bit distracted, that was turn one. Turn one ain't fun.
And just to add on to your point, and as you did rightfully say earlier, with the Formula One calendar coming out in the coming week and 2 weeks, we will definitely capitalize on this opportunity for us to showcase our calendar and see if we can stir some excitement and energy for the upcoming season, which both the Caribbean touring cars as well as Chase for Pace will be starting at the beginning of March. The full calendar has already been set after we will be posting the Caribbean Touring Car Championships calendar by this week, let's say by Wednesday. See if we can stir up a little bit more excitement in the meantime.
Pick up in, is it turning morning?
Yes, it is turning morning. As we did say earlier, this is a 24-hour cycle, or as far as it will go, in the space of 30 minutes. But yes, good morning, Mr. Dillon, let me say good morning to Mr. Robinson over in Japan. Good night to you and Mr. Harrison and Mr. Eastman over here. But yes, it is definitely early morning Saturday or Sunday at this point. So
indeed,
yes, enjoy the scenery. Yawn at this point. Last time you were you're definitely snoring out live. So glad to hear.
It was not this early. Leave me alone.
But yes, as we do notice, Mr. Velez, what happened there with Mr. Dillon? Clearly, tires not being in the best state. Coming through or entering, that looks like the entry of turn one.
Turn one, quite so.
The gap to Mr. Dillon should go down as we speak, as Mr. Harrison does make the move on Mr. Velez, but Mr. Velez is not giving it up, holding the inside line, going into turn one, and covers that line perfectly, taking it as wide as possible to make sure that Mr. Harrison slows that car down to almost a halt, as Mr. Harrison now has to go back on the chase on the final lap of this race. Well, is this the final lap? This is the final lap, as Mr. Dillon does push as hard as possible. I do believe he should pit on this final lap to cement his victory and hypeness, because he is a hyper individual. He is family of the one and only. But that being said, Mr. Harrison still putting the pressure on Mr. Velez, Daniel Velez from Colombia. Very fast drivers over here and will be showcased in the JSRA this season. Excitement to be had as they go around the final corner before the bus stop, the most dreaded section of the track. Let's ride along with Mr. Dillon as he's taking a very interesting exit out of the bus stop. And
no grip on these tires,
comes
sir.
around,
Zero grip.
comes around your host with the most. Oh, well, we have a little bit of while to go before the end of that section. We will join him back as Mr. Velez does take the curb and goes off. Mr. Harrison is promoted into P2, and Mr. Dillon in the very purple and colorful Mercedes-Benz takes P1, followed by Mr. Harrison in P2, who respectfully seems like he's waiting on Mr. Velez. I'm not sure if he's showboating at this point or just coming along. They've had some fun in this race. I know it might not have been the most exciting, but they made their fun where they could, and respect between the two drivers. I believe Jaden is trying to let Mr. Velez through, as they do make a little bit of contact there on the end of the race, as we do follow along with Mr. Roger Robinson, our representative from Artito, or bridge to the Artito Racing Club, who also have some really exciting races that we will be preparing a team to enter. So please stay tuned for that as well. All things being that will be an early morning race for us because Japan obviously it's about 11 a.m. at the moment, as Mr. Robinson takes his Audi across the line with Mr. Eastman
to follow. Mr. Dillon, you won the race while being the head commentator. Let me ask you, what motivated you as you're doing your donuts? I think you should be asking your team leader if you're allowed to do donuts. But that being said, on the stream, the purple and white Mercedes Benz. Congratulations! What was your victory?
Well, I mean, this was one of testing and tuning and clearly
Definitely.
having just learned the car. I will say this tire deck is something to look into going forward because it certainly gives you a lot more to think about in terms of strategy.
Definitely.
Had it not been for the fact that the pit stops came so late, I could have very easily have been a sitting duck if these drivers had taken pit stops and I had decided to stay out because I had very little grip in that last section of the race. As you saw there into turn one, nothing changed in my braking point. All that happened is that the car bit and oversteered with a little bit of a slide going into turn one on that final lap. So yeah, this is a feature that I think could certainly be beneficial in races going forward when you want to get the drivers thinking about their strategy, because we are trying to create very well-rounded drivers here at the JSRA. We want the drivers to be able to think for themselves and maybe start looking into having crew chiefs trained and ready to go for events such as this, had this been a longer race, dare I say. But certainly, this was fun. These cars, again, are not too far off what I expect to have for the coming 12 of Daytona with the WSS. So good practice, and I see Jaden Harrison testing some of his plans and strategies out there with the bomb draft and so on. So certainly there is some more testing to be done, but overall, I like what I'm seeing from the team. Roger looks like he had a bit of a struggle out there following the incident in lap one, and that again gives you an idea of what tire deg can do to somebody's race, because as the quickest driver out there by a decent margin, you saw how easily that unraveled with just one spin out that cost some serious tire wear.
Oh, and 220 deck. I definitely will be using that in the very near future. But yes, that 220 tire deck will definitely be a factor. Sorry to cut you.
No, man, absolutely. But yeah, no, certainly we see where that could be a very useful feature going forward, in terms of getting more pit stop action in so that the drivers are forced to think a little bit more in terms of how they run their races. But overall, yeah, some positives to take away from preseason here. I can't toot my own horn on that victory because people like Jaden were out there idling half the time, and again, poor Roger on that tire deg situation. But yeah, we look forward to what is to come for the year that we have planned, and certainly it has now been tested and proven that it is possible to commentate while racing. So, hey.
And you heard it here first, folks. We will be getting a lot more of Mr. Dillon on track and in the commentary booth at the same time. Hopefully, you won't have to suffer through me again. But we will have Mr. Roper back on starting next week, Friday, for our week 3 of the Caribbean Touring Car Championship. But that being said, I did as much as I possibly could enjoy this race. I hope the audience who were watching did appreciate what we tried to put forward today. But we know as the weeks do come, we will get a better turnout and again a lot more exciting racing. Please, if you get the chance to take a look at the replay from yesterday, it is on our YouTube channel. A link is in our Instagram story. So please, ladies and gentlemen, if you get the chance and you want to see some really exciting and fun racing, take a look at the Caribbean Touring Car Championship, which can be found at JSRA 876. So please like and subscribe. Any suggestions you guys have, we are looking forward to. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful evening. Mr. Dillon, any closing remarks?
Yeah, no, just again, lots to come this year. We're looking to come back bigger and better for year 2. And certainly thank you for the support last season. And we hope that you continue to support us in the coming season. As always, check out our social media pages to be kept up to date on the comings and goings of the JSRA. Lots of big plans and announcements to come in the 2024 season. You need to stop sparring with Jaden. However, yes. Certainly look for what we have in store for you in the 2024 season, and there are some promising things on the cards. Can't say too much about them now, as we're still working on some of the deals and negotiations and plans and events, but lots to come, and we do appreciate the support we've had in year 1, and in the coming year we hope to see that community grow as well as that audience grow. But as per usual, thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next Friday come Caribbean Touring Car Championship. And that is certainly the series to watch in preseason, as it seems that we have lots of drivers out for participation in that one. But again, the grids will grow as we get further into the preseason, when drivers need to start getting their bearings about them. But we just have to do what we can with what we have at the moment. And certainly it was a fun evening. I think we need to ban Mr. Stewart from very many things this season.
I
Maybe we'll
highly
just
disagree.
maybe we'll just stick him in a car and put him on track, and him can figure it out from there.
I don't
Because
think
having
I'll
him
do it.
on the production team looks to be an nightmare waiting to happen. But once again, folks, thank you for joining us here this evening, and we do appreciate having you with us. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Dillon. Thank you for having me. Have a good night, everybody, and thank you for watching.